NIO is in the red. Now guys, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in this video, and this is going to be a very important video. So please, can I have your undivided attention? Got my notes because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. My previous video, I predicted that NIO stock was going to go to 15. Right now, we're at 15. This morning, we actually dipped to 14. And if you were in my Discord, I told all my guys on Discord, climax selling, we're going to get a bounce. And yeah, we got a bounce right now. Right now, we're at 15.20 as of recording of this video. When I made that video, that was when NIO was at around $26. I said NIO stock was going to go to 15. People were like, no way it's going to go to 15. No way. And people were hating me on it. Looking at it now, all I can do is go to the comments and just like and heart that comment that said, no way it's going to 15. Back when NIO stock was at 30, I said it wasn't looking pretty. We could drop down to 20s. And people were like, no way it's going to go to 20s. Guys, I want you guys to know this. I don't decide where the stock goes, all right? Don't hate me for it. I don't want the damn sun to set, all right? But the damn sun just sets. It's out of my control. All I can say is, I think the sun is gonna sit over there. I don't want the sun to set. I want the sun to stay up. Have sunny days all day, every day. So don't hate me for giving these price targets, all right? Before I share my price target, my new price target, new updated price target, there's some things that you have to understand. And this is why we've been going down so much. And during this kind of a market rout, or I guess stock crash, you gotta forget about valuation, because a lot of people, they look at NIO when it was at 30. Oh, it's undervalued. I'm gonna buy NIO at 30. It's undervalued. They got sucked in. They look at NIO at 20. Oh my God, it's 20. Oh, it's so undervalued right now. You're gonna buy in. Forget about valuation. Right now, the biggest driving factor is margin call and capitulation. And this is the biggest problem with NIO stock right now, is that a lot of people, they get forced out because of margin, because of leverage. People that were holding the stock when the stock was 40, now it's down to like 20 something, and then they give up, right? They give up, they sell. There's more selling pressure driving the stock price down. People that bought at 30s, now the stock is at 17, right? Their margin call, they gotta sell. The stock goes down further. It's a spiral effect, all right? Goes on. And then you got the institutions taking losses. Man. And I have a fantastic story about NIO stock. And this was way back before I even started YouTube, before I bought my NIO. You know, I was always intrigued by NIO, and I was on Yahoo message boards just checking out NIO, and there was this one particular investor that was really interesting, and he bought NIO stock at $10. Now, $10, not over here, but way over here. So that was right after IPO, and he bought it on leverage. He bought it on margin. Of course, the stock went down, cratered quite a lot, went down to $4. And I remember clearly he was posting on Yahoo message boards back then. It's like, oh my God, the stock is at $4. I'm being margin called. Oh, should I sell everything? Or should I get a line of credit from my house, mortgage my house? And he was talking about how stressed he was. He was so stressed. And ultimately, you know, it was at $4 when he had to make that critical decision whether or not to mortgage the house or not. Now, it wasn't clear what happened, but afterwards, when NIO stock went down to $1 and something, you know, back then I was really active on Yahoo message boards, and you know, there was no sign of him anymore. So obviously he got out, or like he sold. He was forced out. But in retrospect, you know, that was $1. That was the lowest point. And then, you know, of course, NIO stock rallied to 60. I mean, imagine him looking at NIO stock at 60. He would have just hated himself for being forced out, sold at the lowest point because of margin, and then missing out on all that rally. So instead of maybe earning millions of dollars for him, he lost a couple $100,000 and potentially even his house. So that's pretty nasty. And the moral of the story is, margin is really dangerous, right? And especially a very volatile stock like NIO stock, you should definitely, cut back on margin. I know there's several guys in my Discord that got burned because of margin. Their average was only $20, and this guy told me because of margin, he got margin called and his average turned to $50, which is, that kind of sucks. I believe there is much more downside for NIO stock. Now, I hate to bring this up, but the delisting thing is just, it's crazy. It's stupid. It's stupid. You gotta let us audit your books, or else you're gonna delist in several years. And what's worst about this whole situation is that Yum Brands China, you guys probably know this, they said, okay, we're gonna get delisted. Some things are out of our control. And that just makes things so much worse. Fears a lot of big hedge funds are moving their stock over to Hong Kong.
A significant portion of our U.S. ADRs converted them into the Hong Kong share classes in anticipation that the SEC will fulfill its obligation as the enforcement agent for the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act.
This CNBC interview, they said, this guy, this hedge fund manager, with all this happening, they've moved around 75% of all their holdings to Hong Kong. And maybe that's something that you should consider as well. Of course, that's totally up to you. But one way to do that is to open a Moomoo account, because they support both trading in the US and Hong Kong. It's very easy to sell in the US and then buy in Hong Kong. Currently available for US residents and also Australian residents. I have a special promo link down below, and you guys get free stock and a lot of other free perks. So check it out. Definitely open an account, deposit $100, and get the free stock at least. And then we gotta talk about this whole Ukraine crisis and also Taiwan crisis, which is also insane because right now sanctions on the Russians, and then there's also fear of sanctions coming to China. And the rhetoric here in China right now is that, Putin's the good guy. He's the big daddy boss. He's the grandpa. Ukraine is the little bad boy kid that needs to get slapped on the face, put in line, put in order. Know who your daddy is. That's the theory here in China. Even my wife is like, hey, the Russians, go Russia. I'm like, you don't know the whole situation, man. But I know that the Chinese government will be very careful, that they see what's happening to Russia. They would want to avoid sanctions, so probably won't supply military arms and stuff and help towards Russia. That would be very counterintuitive. Now, on a total different subject, the Taiwan situation is very different. Now, China really wants to take over Taiwan. And, funny story was back in college, I actually dated a Taiwanese girl. And I didn't know she was Taiwanese. I was just like, hey, is your family originally from mainland China? And then she got so upset about it. She was like, and she got so pissed about it. Like, I'm not from mainland China. What are you talking about? I'm like, chill, man. I'm not about, what the hell, man? I'm not about that unification shit, all right? God damn it. But you can see that Taiwanese people are really sensitive for this kind of stuff. They want to be independent. But China is all like, oh, shit, that little bad boy Taiwan, man, we should have wiped them out like ages ago. And that's the whole general thesis, all right? Everyone thinks that Taiwan is part of China and that they're bad behaving, just like how Ukraine is supposed to be part of Russia, apparently, and they're bad behaving. You gotta slap them, put them in line. So there is a real possibility that China is gonna invade Taiwan. No doubt about that, all right? And if they do, I mean, a lot of Chinese people will be very, very happy. But obviously, that's going to cause sanctions and stuff like that. We don't want that. So hopefully that never happens. Now, time to talk about price targets. The most scary part of this whole entire stock route with NIO stock, the most scary part for me is the fact that NIO stock has dropped so much so fast without the QQQ dropping even a little bit. So even though I expected NIO stock to go down to 15, I was not expecting it to go down to 15 whilst QQQ was still holding up. So imagine what will happen if QQQ crashed, QQQ cratered. So that paints a very, very scary picture for me in person. That scares me a lot. I hate to say this, but right now, you know, the stock is so oversold right now, and there's been way too much selling way too fast, and a lot of shorts are going to be covering, a lot of dip buyers are going to be buying in, and the move is just overextended, and we're going to get a bounce. And I told my Discord people that there's going to be bounce. So I see this potentially bouncing to $17, $18 maybe. This might be a short, very short, fast bounce. We might not get there. After that, I do think the prevailing trend is still down because some people are still holding. Some of the bulls are still yet to capitulate. Some of the margin calls are still hanging on, and they're on the brink of selling out. Right now, so many bulls are trapped that when the stock price rallies up, you know, there's just going to be a lot of selling resistance, especially at the $18, $20 mark. People want to get out. So I do think that by the time we get to maybe $17, $18, that there's going to be a lot of resistance. We're not going to break above it. We're going to have a hard time breaking above it, and we're going to reverse and go down further. And this also helps to work off some of the oversold readings, because right now it's so oversold too fast. Once we work that out, I think that clears the path to a even lower stock price for NIO stock. Now, hates for me to say it, but the most logical price target right now is unfortunately $8. Now, I made it clear I don't want NIO stock to go down, just like I don't want the sun to set. All right, but it's looking like it's going to set over there, $8. Right, I might be off by, you know, maybe it's not gonna set at that mountain, maybe it's gonna set at this other mountain. It's gonna go down to $8 potentially, fill that gap. Personally, some levels to watch for on the QQQ is at the $300 level. I do believe that that is very strong support, that once we drop, the QQQ drops to $300, we could be looking at a very good bottom, maybe, potentially. And that would also coincide with potentially NIO bottoming as well. So keep an eye also out on QQQ, see how that behaves. And, you know, I love my NIO. I love the car, love the company. It's great, but valuations thrown out the door, all right? Valuations thrown out the door at a time like this. When things settle and calm down, then look back at valuation, all right? The most important thing is your health and safety. So stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.